Ability scores and ability modifiers are important in D&D games. They interact with most of the dice rolls that you'll make in a game, including attack and damage rolls, saving throws, and skill and ability checks. They can also affect armor class, hit points, and spellcasting. In this video we'll cover everything you need to know about them. So what are ability scores? There are 6 ability scores in D&D. Each relates to a specific area of physical or mental ability for a character, NPC, or monster. We'll call these actors. We'll cover what each ability score affects in detail later, but for now, here's an overview. The 6 ability scores are Strength, which covers how physically strong an actor is. Dexterity, which covers how agile an actor is and how good their reflexes are. Constitution, which covers how tough an actor is and how resistant they are to things like poison. Intelligence, which covers how knowledgeable an actor is in the book learning sense or conscious knowledge. Wisdom, which covers how world-wise an actor is, how good their instincts are, and how well they can read between the lines. And charisma, which covers how good an actor is at influencing others or resisting the influence of others. Every actor in the game has a value in every ability score. The average value for every ability score for a commoner and non-adventuring NPC is 10. If an actor has a higher score than 10, they have more ability than a commoner in that area. If they have a lower score than 10, they have less ability than a commoner in that area. How are ability scores determined and where can I find them? A character's base ability scores are determined during character creation. These base values can be changed by leveling up or by the use of magic items. By default, a player character can only reach a maximum of 20 in any ability score. You can find the ability scores for your character in their physical or digital character sheet or journal. For more info on that stylish journal, see the video description. You can find ability scores for NPCs or monsters in their stat block. If you're making a character, you'll use one of 3 methods to determine the base values in each ability score for your character. Then you'll apply a bonus to 1 or more ability scores based on your character's race. Every time a character gains an ability score improvement, which is typically at level 4 and every 4 levels after, you have the option of adding 2 to 1 ability score or adding 1 to 2 ability scores. What are ability modifiers? Ability scores almost never impact a game of D&D directly. Instead, an ability modifier usually does. Every actor has a modifier for every ability score. This is calculated based on their value in the corresponding ability score. If an actor has a value of 10 or 11 in an ability score, then their modifier is 0. For every 1 or 2 points under 10, an actor's modifier is 1 lower. For every 1 or 2 points over 11, an actor's modifier is 1 higher. For example, if a character has a value of 16 or 17 in an ability score, then their modifier for that ability is +3. At level 1, it's common for a character to have 1 or 2 ability scores with a value of 16 or 17, with corresponding ability modifiers of +3. What does each ability score affect, and which should I prioritize? Ability modifiers, which are calculated from ability scores as we've just seen, impact lots of things in D&D. Let's go through each of these in turn and look at what they affect and which are most important for each class. While you can make a character with ability scores distributed however you like, ignoring the important ability scores for your character may affect their ability to survive an adventure or your enjoyment of the game. As a fair portion of playing D&D is based on the look of the dice roll, I find it best to be prepared. So, from the top, strength affects attack and damage rolls for many melee or thrown weapon attacks. With a melee or thrown weapon attack, strength must be used unless a weapon has the light property. In that case, dexterity can be used instead. Strength also affects athletics skill checks, strength ability checks, and strength saving throws. It also affects a character's ability to use heavy armor effectively. If a character has a lower strength score than the strength requirement for the armor that they're wearing, their speed is reduced. The most important things that strength affects are typically weapon rolls and the use of heavy armor. Because of this, the classes that are most likely to prioritize strength are those that use melee or thrown weapons or heavy armor. This includes barbarians and paladins and some clerics, fighters or rangers. Dexterity affects armor class unless a character is wearing heavy armor. It also affects attack and damage rolls for ranged weapons, dexterity skill checks such as acrobatics and stealth, dexterity ability checks, and dexterity saving throws such as avoiding the full force of a fireball. Dexterity can be used for attack and damage rolls for melee and thrown weapons that have the light property. It can also be used by monks for attack and damage rolls with unarmed attacks or monk weapons. Because dexterity affects so many things, including common saving throws and armor class unless a character is using heavy armor, it can be an important ability score for most classes. It's often particularly important for the rogue, ranger, bard, and monk. Constitution affects hit point values and constitution saving throws and ability checks. It can also affect armor class for the barbarian class. Concentration checks, which are a check that a spellcaster makes to maintain concentration on a spell, are constitution saving throws, so constitution affects these. While constitution ability checks are rare, constitution saving throws are common, and hit points are always important. Because of this, constitution is important to every actor, and especially those that like to jump to the front of combat. This can include the typical barbarian, fighter, monk, and paladin. I enjoyed making this video and I hope you're enjoying it too. If you are, please boop that like button and let me know what you like about it in the comments. This will really make me help more videos like this in the future. Okay, back to the video. Intelligence affects spell attack and difficulty check values for artificer and wizard spells. It also affects intelligence skill checks such as history and investigation, intelligence ability checks, and intelligence saving throws. Intelligence ability checks and saving throws are rare. Lots of skill checks use intelligence, but even so it's only considered a key ability for artificer or wizard classes because their spellcasting relies on it. Wisdom affects spell attack and difficulty check values for the cleric, druid, paladin, and ranger. It also affects wisdom skill checks such as perception and survival, wisdom ability scores, and wisdom saving throws such as to avoid being held or compelled. Wisdom also affects armor class and difficulty checks for the monk. This makes wisdom particularly important for the monk. It's also important for the cleric and druid because it affects their spellcasting, which is an important part of each class. Rangers and paladins tend to rely more on weapon attacks, making it less important. Perception is often considered the most important skill in D&D, and it's often frustrating if a character fails a wisdom saving throw because it can lead to missed turns. Because of this, wisdom can be important for any character. Charisma affects spell attack and difficulty check values for bard, sorcerer, and warlock spells. It also affects charisma skill checks such as persuasion and performance, charisma ability checks, and charisma saving throws. It's typically very important for the bard, sorcerer, and warlock classes because it affects spellcasting for those classes. It's also important for characters that want to be the face of the party, the main character involved in social interactions with NPCs or adversaries. As well as what we just discussed, ability scores can affect multiclassing. Every class has one or two ability scores that can gate multiclassing into or out of that class. The ability score that's gated is the primary ability score for that class, and the value the ability score needs to be is 13 to support multiclassing. For example, to multiclass into or out of the cleric class, a character needs to have a minimum value of 13 in wisdom. How do I learn more about ability scores? You can learn more about ability scores in the Player's Handbook, which is the main source of rules for D&D. I've added a link in the description. One of the main things ability scores affect is the many dice rolls we make in a D&D game. To learn more about each of those rolls and how to make them, check out this video, and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on more helpful D&D videos.